Hi, my name is Lillian. I'm a junior mathematics major, and my program is called Texas Hold'em Simulator Guide that plays a full game of Texas Hold'em from pre-flop to showdown and uses Monte Carlo simulation, equity, pot odds, and expected value to analyze decisions. So at the top, I define constants for ranks and suits and map from rank characters to numbers. Those numeric values are used later when I compare hand strengths. So the two key math helpers are pot odds and expected return call. Pot odds computes the minimum equity the user needs to break even on a call, which is the call amount divided by the final pot if the user decides to call. And the expected return call function takes the equity, pot size, and call amount and returns the expected value of calling. So positive expected value means calling is profitable, and negative expected value means that the user should probably fold. So create deck builds a 52 card deck as strings, with the first is the rank of the card, and second character in the string is the suit. I created a fixed player list of 3 players where player 1 is always the hero, and usually around 6 to 10 players would play a game of poker, but just for the ease of following this program, we'll just do 3. So deal whole cards shuffles the deck and deals 2 cards to each player, returning a dictionary of player IDs to their hands. So then we have the all 169 hands function, and I made this because Texas Hold'em has 169 unique starting hand types, ignoring the suit. So this function generates that full list. Okay, so then standardize my hand takes the user's 2 actual cards and converts them into a standard label, always putting the higher rank first and adding S for suited or O for offsuit. Then preflop ranges function uses those 169 hands and assigns each one to a range, which would be tight red, strong orange, medium yellow, loose green, speculative blue, and then whatever is not in those ranges is then assigned to the junk gray range. And this is based off of this poker ranges pre-flop chart, where the color determines the hand strength, and this is the standardized label, which is the 2 card face values with the suit suffix. Next we have the pre-flop round, which looks up user's standardized hand in those ranges and prints a suggestion based on where the cards lay in the range chart. Next we have the flop round, turn round, and river, which controls how many community cards appear. So flop round will pop out 3 cards for the flop, then 1 for the turn, then 1 for the river, and update the betting round name each time. Next I have the evaluate 7 card hand function, which evaluates the hands by converting card ranks to numbers, and counting the occurrences to find pairs, trips, and quads, and then Here it checks for flushes and straights, including the wheel straight, which is where the ace card is counted as a low card in the case of a straight. And then it returns a tuple like this, which gives the hand category from high card up to straight flush plus kicker information, where the kickers are the cards that don't help with the winning hand but are still in the 5-card hand. Okay, next I have the Monte Carlo equity simulation, which estimates the winning chance of the user versus all of the opponents using Monte Carlo simulation. So for each trial, it builds a fresh deck and removes the user's cards and the known cards in the community, and then it deals random opponent whole cards for the other players, which are different from the ones that are used in the actual game. Then it completes the community board to 5 cards, depending on the current betting round that the actual game is in. And then it evaluates every 7-card hand and sees whether the user beats the best villain, and after many trials, equity is approximately wins plus half of ties divided by total trials. Next, I have the simulate equity and hand probability, which runs a similar loop but just tracks what final hand category the user ends with, which gives probabilities for each of the winning hands. Then I have the display analysis, which is the main display function, which prints out all of the information of the game for the user to see. Including the game state dictionary, which includes like the betting round and my stack, pot size, and to call for the current round. And then after this, it prompts the user for their decision, which handles the choice of fold, call, or raise, and it also ensures that the user cannot bet more chips than they have in their stack, as well as raise, or that they cannot call more chips than they have, nor can they raise more chips than they have in their current stack. Then we have the opponent's act function, which simulates the other players, and for each non-user player, it randomly chooses fold, call, or raise using the random module, and so calls add to the pot, and raises choose a random amount within a reasonable range and updates the pot for this, and then sets to call to the new value that everybody, including the user, must match. So then it follows that there should be a function to check if there is still an outstanding to call amount for the user after the opponent's act, and if so, then the user is prompted for action again. Then Resolve Showdown handles the end of the hand and evaluates your 7 or the user's 7-card hand and every villain's 7-card hand to find the best villain or opponent score and compare it to the user's score. And this is how you decide whether you win or not. Then we have the final function, which is run hand, and it ties everything together. This is where everything is called and the deck is created, cards are dealt, ranges are built, asks for all of the action choices and initializes game state, and then runs through all of the betting rounds here. And then if you make it to the end without folding, then you hit the resolve showdown function. So now I will just go ahead and play. So this is everything that is in the display action function or display analysis function. So here I have an expected value for call in the negatives, so I should probably fold. So I'll fold so you can see what happens. And the game is over. So then you can play again. Just do double the small blind amount for the big blind. And here is the suggested action based on what my cards are here. So just for the sake of the game, I'll call. And then you see what the other two opponents' decisions are. Okay, so now my stack is updated and the pot size is updated, as well as the pot odds. And the Monte Carlo has run again for this round. So I have an EV call of 0, so I'm just gonna call. Okay, now I'll raise. Or I'll just raise for fun. I'll raise 5. Okay, now the community cards have updated for the turn round here. And I'll just call, just to keep the game going. And I get nothing out of this hand. Oh, maybe I do have a 2 pair because there is a 2 pair in the community cards anyways, but everyone has a 2 pair. But just for fun, I'll raise because I have a king. And I'll raise 5. Another raise, so I'll call. And now I've reached showdown. So I did lose, and I still have 965 left in my stack, and the opponent won the $65 that is in the current pot.